Hi, welcome to Fantasy Booms and Busts Week 5. I'm CJ Galino.
And I'm Sam Bloomquist. Let's get into it. Who do you like this week, CJ?
Well, Sam, I really like Mike Vick. I mean, they're playing the G-Men. That really should be enough said. The Giants are the most pathetic defense in the NFL. Nothing is going right for them. With Vick's natural speed and ability, I don't see how he can't put up big numbers.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. You're definitely going to want to start any Philadelphia Eagles players you have this week. On the other hand, I like Matt Ryan at the quarterback position this week. The 1-3 Falcons have a lot to prove. Matty Ice has not been good in the fourth quarter, and he had his best output of his entire season last week against the Patriots. And if you cover up Julio Jones, he's got Roddy White, who's getting healthier to throw to. You cover up Julio Jones and Roddy White, you still got Tony Gonzalez, Harry Douglas, and Jacquizz Rodgers all to throw to. He's lost to the Dolphins and the Patriots, so he's got something to prove against the Jets this week, CJ.
Yeah, absolutely. I like that pick a lot. The Jets are good. The Jets have been surprising people. I mean, they are tied for the most turnovers at the quarterback position in the NFL. So I think Matt Ryan can find the holes in the defense. So I think that's a solid pick. I really like Chris Johnson, and I know a lot of people don't like Chris Johnson because he has underperformed this season so far. That being said, they're playing Kansas City. Kansas City is allowing 118 yards on the ground per game, and this could be the breakout game. We all know that CJ is good enough to have a breakout game and to do what he's known to do, be one of the best running backs and most effective running backs in the NFL. And with KC's good secondary, they're going to give him a lot of touches, which is going to give him many opportunities to break out big runs and put up a big number of yards.
See, I disagree with you on that, CJ. We haven't seen CJ 2K in a long, long time, and every year they think he's coming back. Kansas City's going to have the ball a lot because of their dynamic offense, and even if they don't have the greatest run defense, Tennessee recently just lost their quarterback, Jake Locker, to an injury last week, so now they have to start Ryan Fitzpatrick, who had a terrible career with the Bills the last few seasons. So I don't think that he's going to be that much of a difference in what we see in the running game from Tennessee this week.
The thing about that is I see where you're going with that, but at the same time, it's now they're starting Ryan Fitzpatrick. That's even going to rely on more about Chris Johnson. I know KC's going to be able to zone in on him now that they don't have much of a passing threat, but he's a fantastic athlete. So I think that he can easily break off 100-plus yards this week, especially if their average is 118. He's good enough to do it.
If you want to start someone who's been consistent all season, I'd say Matt Forte would be the man for that job. He's playing New Orleans this week, which doesn't have a great run defense. Even though they'll rack up the points against the Bears, then the Bears may not win this game. Matt Forte has had an extraordinary season. He's always averaging from about 15 to 17 points a week, and he's very consistent. And the New Orleans defense can definitely be run on.
Yeah, no, Matt Forte's a solid pick. I just think that New Orleans is a very improved defense. They can be run on. Their offense is explosive. It could be a very high-scoring game. It could be a shootout. I think I have New Orleans winning that game, but that's besides the point. New Orleans' defense is very, very, very talented. Like I said, they're much improved, and their linebacking core has been playing very well. So although Matt Forte is consistent, I think that he can be stopped this week. Someone I really like is Darrell Richardson. Darrell Richardson's another person who has let their fantasy owners down this week. This past season thus far. They're playing everyone's favorite opponent, the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jaguars rank 32nd in rush defense, which is dead last for those of you who don't know. And he's talented. He does have bursts of speed. He's got good hands coming out of the backfield. And playing the worst rush defense in the league, this has got to be a breakout game for Richardson.
Well, I don't completely agree on you with this one either, CJ, because Darrell Richardson is a part of the St. Louis Rams. They're rebuilding their offense, and Darrell Richardson has not been dynamic at all this season. He has underperformed every week. I gave him a shot at my flex position, and he's really let me down. So I don't see him making any sort of difference against the Jaguars. Sure, it'll be a high-scoring game, but I think that's going to come from Sam Bradford just slinging it up to all of his receivers.
That's another thing. I think that they're going to blow the Jaguars out, and that's something that could work in fantasy owners' favors if they start Richardson. They're going to have to milk the clock. They're just going to run the clock out. So that could get Richardson a lot of carries, just a lot. Even if the game's not even close, he could rack up another 50 yards just because they're trying to milk the clock and just end the game with handing the ball off.
Absolutely. You make a good point there. They're definitely going to get some garbage time carries, racking up some points for Darrell Richardson there. Someone I don't like this week at the running back position, though, is Jason Snelling. There was some rumors that he would be taking over for Steven Jackson while he was out with a hamstring injury, but it seems that Jacquizz Rodgers is going to be getting a majority of the carries, and Snelling's only going to be getting short yardage when it's like 3rd yard, 3rd and 2, or possibly, and this is a very small choice happening possibility of pounding in a touchdown. But, with the Falcons' dominant pass offense, I find it very unlikely for Jason Snelling to be anything of fantasy valuable this week.
Yeah, the thing about Jason Snelling is I just don't think he's that effective overall. I mean, obviously, everyone knows that Steven Jackson's a better running back. I think Jason Snelling's a mediocre running back at best, even against the worst defense in the NFL. So I agree with you there. Someone who I don't like, and we've been ragging on him lately, is Colin Kaepernick. Kaepernick's having quite the sophomore slump, to say the least. I don't like him strictly this week because he's playing the Houston Texans. And I'm a little biased because I'm a Texans fan, but they're the #1 passing defense in the NFL. They're allowing 141 yards per game and 254 all-purpose yards. The matchup's not favorable for Kaepernick, to say the least. With Ed Reed running the secondary out there, you got Kareem Jackson on one corner, you got Jonathan Joseph on the next, and a spectacular linebacking core, matched with J.J. Watt putting pressure on him. I just don't see Kaepernick doing really anything effective for fantasy owners.
And we all saw last week how the Texans gave the Seahawks a ride and how they almost took them into the overtime and won. And then when the Seahawks played the 49ers, the Seahawks just destroyed them. So I don't see the 49ers having a good game at all this week. Somebody I like is Victor Cruz. The Giants, we mentioned before, are having an absolutely terrible season. They're 0-4, and nothing seems to be working right for them. But Philly has given up the most points to wideouts this season. And even though the Giants have had a terrible game, Victor Cruz is having a great season. When they lost 31-7 to Kansas City, he's at 164 yards and a touchdown. And then when they lost 41-23 at Denver, he still had 118 yards. And when they lost 36-31 to Dallas, he had 118 yards and 3 touchdowns last week. So I see Victor Cruz getting a lot of catches. I don't think the Eagles can cover him as good as other teams could have. And I see Victor Cruz having an extraordinary game this season.
I agree with you a lot about Victor Cruz. The Eagles secondary is extremely depleted. And Victor Cruz is an outstanding talent. He's got crazy speed, can catch anything you put in his area. So I absolutely agree with you that Victor Cruz is going to have a big game. The Giants aren't going to win, I don't think, but that doesn't stop him from putting up big numbers. So that does it for Fantasy Booms and Busts Week 5. We'll see you at Week 6.
Have a good one, folks.